Welcome, everyone, to a peak performance here at Mercy University, wonderful studios. I'm Coach, sitting down on a cold January day with a guy who's used to the cold. He's from Canada. His name is Leif Vollebekk. How's it going, Leif?
Good.
Welcome
how are
in.
you?
Welcome. We're settled in. We've already. I feel like I already know you now because we've talked for a while.
Yeah, we talked about all the stuff. We kind of covered it.
Yeah, so we could just go home then.
You went to high school. No,
I didn't go to
high
high
school
school
with Alan Alda.
Right,
but
he's much older than I am.
That's why I was cutting myself off. But then you were like, "Don't do this to me on the radio."
Yeah, Stepanak High School,
Yeah.
Archbishop Stepanak High School, Alan Alda, John Voight, Captain Lou Albano, the wrestling, the wrestling manager from the '80s.
I was gonna make a joke that I had a poster of him on my bedroom.
Did you really?
And I was gonna say no.
Well, there you go. That was good. I was
But
like,
then
wow.
I was like, that's cruel.
That'd be
it'd be kind of creepy.
It'd be weird. Like, wow, you had a
of the
photo
manager.
Captain Lou Albano on
Yeah.
here. Wow. Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, okay, man.
Yeah,
it's weird.
But also that Howard Stern sounds like Alan Alda if
He
you
does.
close your eyes. That is
See?
never gonna leave me.
Now you know. Now next time you hear either one of them, you're gonna what we call A-B it when on YouTube.
A-being, I don't know if A-being is actually effective. Actually, I've been thinking
really?
about it. Yeah,
Oh, wow. We're going into music theory now.
Because nobody ever, when you compare a mix, right? You go, oh, that sounds better, but no one's ever going to hear the other mix ever. So they'll never have the experience of A-being it. So
Good point.
it actually gets to a point where, and then if you A-beat again, the new one and the other one, you could actually end up in some sort of vortex.
See, now we're talking music theory. We haven't even played a song yet. but I understand
But you know
what
what I
you're
mean?
saying.
Like,
yeah.
it's like, what am I actually comparing it to? Like, if
it's just in your own head.
yeah,
Yeah.
So then at one point,
Like if nobody else knows what B is, then how do they know that this is the better
like,
one?
is it better without compare? Is it better if you aren't comparing? And that's what's confusing, because comparison is the thief.
Do you do this with every
happiness.
album that you write? Do you?
A-B it?
Yeah.
I
you don't A-B it.
Oh,
I'm saying.
I A-B it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's the thing. And then at one point I go, what am I still doing here?
Now you're just talking to yourself,
I got the
right,
Howard
yeah.
Hughes beard and like cartoon fleas buzzing around my head.
Right.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I think that snare drum is a little bit darker.
Gone too far down the
Yeah.
rabbit hole once you're A-Bing it.
But
yeah.
then when someone goes, hey, you know what, the record sounds really good, then you're like, crap, maybe I need to A-B it. Maybe I did, but then they don't like it.
It must take you years to make an album.
I don't even know. Isn't it 1985 right now?
Right. Anyway, well, Leif Vollebekk, we still have so much to talk about, I feel like, but let's play a song. Why not?
Yeah, totally. You want to hear Peace of Mind?
Sure.
Driving around looking for action, mountain range come into view. The colors they change with the sun and the rain, and maybe now I'm different too. Last night I prayed for direction, this morning when it showed, I didn't hold on. Now baby it's gone, and you tell me now that's just how it goes. You give me peace of mind. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Honey, you make it look easy, floating above the world. But when you least expect it, your body electric brings you back to that little girl. Running through the streets of the village, talking to strangers on high. 98 in the shade, for this you were made, but my northern blood is begging to fly. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Blood in the river, turning to dust. Who will deliver the two of us? if I'm crazy to want this, wandering from town to town. What if my purpose is deserting the circus? Honey, would you follow a clown? I dreamed I attended my funeral, children playing in the rain, a dandelion placed over my face, and I'll never be the same again. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. 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 You give me peace of mind.
Leif Vollebekk at a peak performance. That one's called Peace of Mind. That's the song we're playing right now on the radio. There's two versions of that song. That version kind of sounded more like the morning version.
Oh man,
right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that is the morning version. I mean,
Okay.
it was kind of a late in the game thing. So the first take of that song was done on this guitar, just light drums and acoustic, and we're like, great, it's done. And then I got home and I was like, I didn't A-B it.
You didn't A-B it, see?
I forgot to A-B it. No, it was the A. It was the A version, and I just was like, I just felt like I couldn't. The vocal wasn't as clear, and I didn't see. If just if we're talking about, because I haven't explained it, people are like, "What the heck's going on?" It's that when I got home, I didn't see the lyrics. Like usually, it's like a movie, and I found that I could hear. It sounded like a guitar and a vocal performance, but I didn't see the movie, and so I went back in and I did another version, the one on the record, where I made more space for the vocal, and then we did another live take where I wasn't playing guitar at all because I felt like the guitar was getting in the way of the movie. But then I kind of but then my manager heard it and he's like, I love that one. And I was like, well, I liked it too, but I couldn't see the movie. And they're like, well, let's just put it out anyways.
Well, we play the morning version. We have a Sunday morning show on the Peak that's called Sunday Morning Over Easy.
Oh, great.
And the morning version is perfect for that show. The rest of the time, we play the evening version.
That's amazing.
So there you go.
Oh, thanks.
So it's going to good use. People are hearing it.
That's so fun. Well, that feels good too. I didn't realize you could do that. I thought people would be mad, but then...
No, we don't care.
Great.
Yeah. People aren't mad.
That's great.
It's a great song. And it's a great album. Revelation is the album from Leif Vollebekk out right now. You could find Peace of Mind on there that we're playing. And that song, Peace of Mind, almost didn't make the record, right? Or was it kind of the last one you put on the record?
You know, that's funny. I don't. Yeah, maybe it was kind of. It's the last song I wrote for the record, and then it was. Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know how I know that. I was in the room.
Yeah,
I knew,
you were there. I remember.
was there.
And you were there, and you were. No, it's that I was desperate to get a version that I was happy with on the record. I really want to, and if it didn't work, it was just going to be on my next record. But
gotcha.
But yeah, it was. I felt like the album was missing a little. It's funny, you make a whole record and usually, there's one song you're like, maybe this one. It's the one that everyone seems to like. It's the one you labored over sometimes the least. And which is like, you want to learn from that mistake.
In keeping with our theme so far.
Yeah, doing less work and being lazy hasn't worked well for me before that. So it's this weird, like, do you have to work extra hard, like be riddled with doubt and sweat and then drive everyone crazy in order to have a relaxed song later? I don't know.
I don't know. Who knows? Sometimes it's just, they always say the best songs ever were written in like 10 minutes, right? Like,
I know.
It comes to you, it's like a divine inspiration.
That's the hope.
Spit it right out.
Yeah.
It seems like you painstakingly made this record, though. It sounds really good,
I wrote
too.
that song. Well, that song came out immediately. It was a really fast song, which is funny. And then, but then it's like you want to record it in a way that, I mean, I'm my own producer, for better or worse. I don't do it on purpose. I just didn't find anyone that wanted to work with me. But that I really admired, because you don't want to go with a producer that whose work you don't like, and then they just go like, well, let me design your house like I did for that other guy, and you're like, no, I don't like that color.
You said for that song, the morning version didn't fit the movie. What did you mean by that? Like you had a vision in your head about what that song.
Well, it's funny when I record. So I record live. I do a live vocal with the band. That's how I record. So that and the vocal then I don't change the vocal. So when I get a vocal performance I like with the band, then I figure out, I'll add like some strings or maybe some electric guitar, but basically it's a live performance. And for some reason, the only way that I do it is that when I close my eyes listening back, I just see the characters or I see the story. It's like a little movie.
Like the story of the song.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then what's weird is that then I go, oh yeah, and that's where the steel guitar will go. Or like, oh, I'll just put a synth pad here. Because the story kind of tells you what to do. And if I don't see the movie, I actually am completely paralyzed. I don't know if it needs bass or if it needs sub bass or if it needs more compression or if it needs a piano part. And then you end up just layering until death. So I don't do it. So I only overdub and keep a take that I see the movie, which is kind of funny because it's quite frustrating because no one else knows if I'm seeing the movie. But usually
it's only playing in your head.
Yeah, but usually, the other guys in the band, my drummer Olivier or Shazad, who's playing bass on this track. No, Mike was playing bass on this track. But they'll be like, I don't know, this takes better than the other one. I don't know why. And it always is the take that I'm seeing something. So it's kind of it's kind of more like it's like making a director movie kind of thing.
Right. So when you write songs, is that, I don't want to call it a method, but does that lead you to write songs maybe that aren't necessarily about yourself? You just see these two characters, or do you write songs that are about your own life and it kind of fits this movie?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's like kind of it's more like when you have a dream, you're like I don't know, like brushing your teeth at a zoo,
Right.
But it makes a lot of sense to you. That's mostly what songs are for me. It's like sometimes I'm like, oh, that's what happened. And sometimes it's a week later you go, oh, that's why I dreamt about that, because that really affected me. And it reminded me of this thing that happened a long time ago, and I'm going to change.
Right.
That's what an ideal song for me is. I write it. Whenever I know I'm going to write it, I don't keep it. But if I'm just writing it, not thinking, and I'm kind of in that in-between state of not forcing it, then I usually find out something, and then I keep it. And then the idea is that it's vague enough that it wasn't too literal for me, and then, hopefully it's not too literal for somebody else.
Yeah. Wow, that's, I'm fascinated by songwriting processes for all the artists that come in here, and I don't know that I've ever met anybody that writes a song quite like that.
Really? Oh, wow.
I don't think so.
Well, it kind of goes to what you were saying about like the best songs are written kind of automatically, quickly.
Yeah.
You can't come up with a whole, you can't be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to write a song called Blowing in the Wind. Okay, and now first line's going to be, it'll be killer, and then it's just going to I'm going to go into like social stuff, but then also like mystical things.
Right.
And it'll be great. Watch this. That's not what happened.
No.
And so what did happen there? I don't know, but it's clearly so powerful when it happens that it's undeniable.
Yeah.
And you just try to scratch the surface of that sometimes. I mean, Dylan just like kept nailing it, but then he inspired everyone else to do a pretty good job.
Right. That's true. That's true.
It was funny with Leonard Cohen, like doing working on things so much, but I feel like what he does is he's just at the fish pond in like the hole in the ice, and he's just like waiting for the right fish, and he's still doing that creative process, but I think he just did it over the course of a long time. I think he's still spontaneous in that laboriousness,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Man, that's awesome. Let's have another song. Why not?
Right. I was like afraid of like insulting a Leonard Cohen fan and be like, yeah, well, he took 5 years on Hallelujah.
I know. Yeah. Any Leonard Cohen fan could send their emails to studio@1071thepeak.com. We'll forward them to Leif.
Please do. So this is another funny tuning here. So speaking of dreams and spontaneous, this song came to me in a dream. This is the only time I ever had a song come in the dream, and it was Jeff Buckley was teaching me this song, and he was teaching me on the guitar, and it was an F. It was a little bit like Morning Theft. Do you know that song?
I don't think I know Morning Theft.
Uncompleted record. That's on that Sweetheart, the Drunk. Very beautiful.
Cool.
This one's called Rock and Roll. Flowers wilted when the days got hot. Slow motion wheels on a fast moving truck. I'm driving around just to pick you up, but I can't find you. In the water of a sacred place, see reflection, yeah, I see your face. And I know that all will be erased if I touch it. I'm on a boat and I'm out at sea. There's no captain, or maybe the captain is me. And you got your head laying on my knee. Then I wake up. When you told me that you lost a friend, but it's just beginning in the end, and that you'll be seeing her again at the river. Well, I think I know just where you've been. My grandfather, he played the violin, and babe, I still remember him when I'm playing. So I'm gonna play just this one note. It ain't even one of the ones I wrote. In fact, none of them are, didn't you know? They're made by the maker of rock and roll. Rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. Sha-la-la-la-la, 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 shibidi-bop, 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 shoo-ba-doo-ah. Rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. Sha-la-la-la-la.
Leif Vollebekk at a peak performance, a song hand-delivered by Jeff Buckley in a dream. That's such a cool story.
It's true. Yeah.
The new album, Revelation, out right now. We're hearing some songs off of it. And, yeah, that's, I mean, were you always a Jeff Buckley fan? Was he in your head that day? Why?
He's kind of always a little bit in my head. It seems like, you know, I came to Leonard Cohen through Jeff Buckley. I thought, oh man,
Right.
I don't know about this Grace record, but I love this Hallelujah song he wrote.
Yeah.
You know, and it was kind of pre-Googling things.
Right,
You
you
know,
just didn't know.
I was on Yahoo, I think, at the
Right.
time. No. Yeah, and I just was like, and then someone was like, no, that's Leonard Cohen. I was like,
Yeah.
no way. And then I listened to Leonard Cohen's version,
yeah.
and I didn't understand the production, you know.
Right.
Hence why you got A/B the mixes.
Right.
But yeah, no, he's just phenomenal.
Yeah, there's a whole generation of kids who think Nirvana wrote "The Man Who Sold the World."
Right.
And you know, and I think somebody even at one point, David Bowie, like commented on it. He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, I guess it's kind of his song now.
You know, yeah. And yet,
So it
I
happens.
would have never heard that David Bowie song. That
Right,
wasn't a
me
record
neither.
that I got into.
Yeah, me too.
And-
So it's great when that happens, you
I
know.
mean, it's so special. I mean, and Nina Simone covering Bob Dylan, and of course Leonard Cohen, her version of Suzanne. That's great for the Sunday morning show. Have you heard that version?
I will put that request into Chris Herman, who hosts the Sunday morning show.
I get
have not.
shivers just thinking about it. She, you know,
I gotta
she's
check it out.
virtuoso piano playing, and she
Yeah.
just, you can tell that she loves the lyrics when she's singing.
I got to check it out. And I will write Chris Herman a note. Chris Herman hosts our Sunday morning over easy radio program, of
Right
course.
on.
It's more chill, You know, like you don't turn it up till 11.
Yeah.
You turn it back down to like a 5.
Right. You know,
You keep it chill
I don't mean
Sunday.
to go on about Leonard Cohen.
Go ahead.
But Sigaros a long time ago had a quote, and they were saying like, the thing about Leonard Cohen is that you turn it up to the maximum and it's still quiet. And I was like, that's the coolest thing.
It's true, yeah.
It's
yeah.
actually true.
Sam loves Cigaros. He's a huge Cigaros guy.
Yeah, he also loves cowbell, which is a funny thing.
Yeah,
A funny
Sam,
mix.
he loves
You
Cigaros
hear him
and
clapping
cowbell.
through the soundproof wall.
Yeah.
I'm a big Cigaros fan. When I lived in Iceland, like back in before apparently it was overloaded with tourists, like 2005, 2006, and I was playing a cover of their song, a song called Andvari, which is in Hopelandic, and at a coffee shop, and Yancey walked in and sat down, and I didn't know, and then he left. I guess he said interesting. Isn't that nice?
He didn't say anything. Like
He said it to
hey,
a friend of mine. Be like, oh, interesting.
But
yeah,
I would stop and say like, hey.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I don't know
know.
that much about Cigaros. I know a little bit, but not that much.
The production is phenomenal.
That's probably why Sam loves him so much.
Oh, it's just
He's obviously a big production guy.
Yeah, and then Kjartan Svensson, he has like this. He's like the composer of the strings and the piano player, and he has his own orchestral works that are just like mind blowing.
All right. Sam was always telling me to get into Cigaros. I don't really listen to him, but I'll listen to you.
Yeah. Oh, do it.
I'll try to do it now.
You know what's a great record
Now
is the Brackets record.
Okay.
That's their first. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of records, but that one is like completely just a trip. It's like, there's no lyrics,
Right.
and they just went for it, and like nothing was playable on the radio,
Right.
And
And I'm a radio guy, so
yeah. Actually, what'd be nice is when Craig Kilborn was hosting the Late Late Show.
that was a while ago.
Yeah, they went on and they did a version of a song, and that performance is what got me into.
I'm gonna have to go down this
if you
rabbit
can
hole
believe
now.
it. Yeah, but that you'll get the essence of the whole thing.
All right.
They were promoting a record. You're like, I didn't ask this question.
No,
They're
I'll
promoting
listen
another
when Leif-
record.
Oh.
and they played the new song. Like
Oh.
they were. So
Yeah, I love when bands just do that.
They just do what
I
they
do,
want.
except for here. No,
Yeah,
I'm just
except for
kidding.
except when they
you
go
can
on
totally
a
do
tangent
that
about
here.
Cigaros.
No, I'm just kidding. No, this is a great conversation, and I will listen to you tell me that Cigaros is great.
Yeah.
But I don't listen to when Sam tells me.
You shouldn't.
Yeah,
He's
you
a
I will.
he's a
listen to. He's a
cowbellman.
cowbell guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
one thing I wanted to ask you about was the you have I wouldn't call it a condition.
Oh yeah.
But
Well, yeah.
synesthesia is
Yeah.
what it's called, right? And it's where, for those who don't know, you can see when music plays, you see color.
Yeah.
Right? And I want to tell you why I'm fascinated about this. Follow me for a second. Speaking of tangents. See, when I was a kid, here in the States, when I was younger, we had this program called DARE in school. And it was like an anti-drug program. And they've now done research about this years later. They stopped it because it turned more young people onto drugs than actually prevented them. Because a police officer would come to your classroom each week and talk about drugs.
Okay.
And one of the drugs was probably LSD.
Every week.
Every week.
That's a lot.
For a month or 2 months or whatever.
Don't think about the pink elephant
So
in
like,
the room. Yeah.
they would be like, so one of the drugs, I remember I was 10 years old. They told us about a drug that would, probably LSD, I'm thinking, where you could see sound and hear color.
Uh-huh.
And I remember going to lunch that day, and we were all talking about how cool that must be to see sound and hear color. Hence, since then, they've cut that program because I think it turned more people onto drugs. But I vividly remember that in school, and it's almost like you have that sort of thing. It's almost like you can see sound.
Some people it's debilitating. This
Really?
stuff. I mean, to a certain extent, like
Yeah.
you smell grass, and there's a different. You have a different. Not
Like a
that
different sensory.
Yeah,
kind of
well,
thing.
they're all connected. But apparently, when you're an infant, senses are not untangled. They are. This is what I read about it, and that perception. That's something that your brain does over time is to separate the. Yeah. And then apparently the idea is that it's not separated, which seems kind of like it's a condition.
Yeah.
I don't feel that there's any condition.
Right.
For me, it's kind of like what I was saying about the movie.
Yeah.
It's not just like when I hear a key, I'll see kind of blobs of color or whatever. But if it's a song with a story, I go right into it, and especially like an album like Dylan's Blood on the Tracks with
Sure.
the open tuning, and I can see it, and I can see the guitar, and I can see there's colors in the guitar. It's colors, but sometimes I just see things. But what's weird is there's this composer, this Finnish composer called Sibelius, and he does classical stuff, and he's the only composer that whenever I've seen one of his performances or one of his pieces, I see things.
Wow.
And I remember going, but I mean, like one time I saw this one concerto, and one symphony, and I was in a snowy forest. But I mean, like it was like
That's crazy.
transportational. There's the most intense it's ever been.
Wow.
And I was in a northern forest covered in snow, a lot of like, and the whole thing, I was like, it was an actual film.
Wow.
And then another time, I never thought about it. I didn't know that I had synesthesia at the time. I just thought everybody saw things. And that's the major thing. People assume everyone else has it because no one really talks about perceiving perception.
Yeah.
And another time I went to go see, and it was called The Oceanides. It was playing before something I wanted to see. And I was like, oh, it's Sibelius, that'll be cool. And then I saw, but I mean, of course I saw the ocean, but I saw specific things happening over the water.
Wow.
And I was like, and there was this, and then I saw the storm, and I saw this thing. And at one point I was like, what are those little things floating above the water? It was this, I was like, there's something else there, and I don't know what it is. And I went home and I read this thing that apparently Sibelius had synesthesia and wanted to put the world back in order through sound. Oh. And he thought it was a divine gift from God.
Wow.
And he didn't want anyone to ever know because they'd call him crazy.
Right.
But what's crazy is that he thought God wanted him to place the sounds back in order the way that they should be. Wow. So I don't even. So there's an element of just like, how is that even possible that I honed in on this one composer that I saw specific things, and then it turned out that those were like water angels, water nymphs.
Wow.
And he's like, and he put water nymphs on them.
So you have the same
I don't know
visions as like somebody else listening to that. Wow, that's crazy. Listening to that
but
same
this is
song.
the only example I can think of. But I don't know. I haven't really mentioned it that much, but it was really wild. I went home and I was like, he must have synesthesia. And then then he did. And then it turned out he was terrified by it, but used it. And so I was like, but yeah, to see what he placed before me, I just thought, how is that possible? So it makes me think there's something else at play. I don't know what it is.
Well, that's really cool. And just kids, stay off the drugs.
Well, that's it. Well,
let's just do that.
What is it when I've never taken LSD, but
no, I know. But maybe it affects that part of the brain. Maybe that's what it does.
That's obviously they talk about. I mean, lock and key or whatever. It's like, well, that's not like if you give LSD to a rock, it's not going to see sound, right? So these are things that you can do in your mind.
In your mind,
is that possible?
Right.
Are we
it
selling?
Just allows you to do them.
We're not talking about.
Yeah. By the way, this peak performance brought to you by LSD.
I'm on the record.
And the dispensary. We have a lot of dispensaries.
I'm anti-drug,
right now.
just for the record.
Yes, say no,
Canadian.
kids.
I'm not.
Just say no, kids.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Should I play piano?
You will be, I'll tell you right now, you're going to be the first person to ever use that piano at a peak performance.
Is that right?
This is a monumental moment here, right? I don't think we've ever had anybody play that piano, so please.
Okay, great.
I hope it's in tune.
It is.
Okay,
that
good.
Great. Put this down. All right, this song, this one's called Southern Star. It kind of sounds like, hello, darkness, my old friend. No, I won't play that one. You know about that one? They added the drums after. You know about this?
In Sound of Silence?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they released it and it tanked. And
Really?
Then the same producer of Highway 61 Revisited, forget his name right now, he was like, this folk rock is a real thing. So he had the band come in from Highway 61 Revisited, play drums, bass, on top of the song. And the time's all crazy. Paul Simon hated it, went to #1. And they had
I tell you what, this is going to be, so just to let you know, each week we have a segment on the morning show on Friday mornings. My boss, Chris Herman, who hosts Sunday Morning Over Easy, is a wealth of knowledge. And people submit questions to try to stump him. We call it Stump the Herm. His name is Chris Herman.
Oh, yeah, he'll know this one.
And
he's 70-something?
No, Chris is like 62.
Oh, he might not know this one.
So I will submit that next week, submitted by Leif Vollebekk, and we'll see if he knows.
Okay, great.
All right, and I will let you know if he gets it.
Who produced? Oh yeah, how are you going to form the question? I guess
I got to figure that out. Well, you could just say, I don't know. Who plays drums on Sound of Silence?
How did so and so come to play drums on
something like that? Yeah. I'll look into it though. But that will be submitted by Leif Vollebekk. There we go.
There we
Getting
go.
a lot done today.
Big dreams, they move slowly, like a fog across the plains. A dream where I'm riding horses, you're on my mind again. Maybe I was born to wander. You took me a while to find. You know I still get shivers when your voice rubs up on mine. Do you know who you are? Are you my friend or lover? Perhaps it just can't be defined. I know I can take you with me. You're a map with no folding lines, and I climb that Northwest Passage, look the master in the eye. When I'm confused, confounded, I search for you in the sky. Do you know who you are? Faith in the morning after. Wait for the time to come. Say when love don't come easy, just know who you are. Baby, you're my southern star. Come out of the shapeless stardust. The rafters, they shake for you. They're clamoring for a song now. The lights are blonde and blue. Hey, it's just a chain reaction. Relinquish your perceived control. Float down that mighty river, sweet mother with the angel's soul. Do you know who you are? Faith in the morning after. Wait for the time to come. Say when love don't come easy, just know who you are. Baby, you're my southern star.
Leif Vollebekk at a peak performance. Do you realize that you snap your fingers while you're playing the piano?
I do.
Or is that just like a habit?
Habit that I've seen filmed, and I guess that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that. You're doing a lot of stuff and talking about a lot of things I've never kind of seen anybody do or say or talk about.
Yes.
and that's in a good way.
It's all live.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's all lies.
That's so kind of you. Thank you.
When did you start learning how to play piano? You're an amazing piano player.
Oh, thanks. I a little bit quietly at home. I was playing a guitar a lot, and then one day I realized, wait a minute, that's a G, and then and I looked at all the frets, and I actually did like
So you
this.
taught yourself.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was just like, and I started with like, wait a minute, and then I was like, wait a minute, I can play all of these songs on the radio. I was like,
Right.
like like a.
Yeah. That's cool.
With Fatboy Slim. I was
awesome.
like, wait, I can do that. And then I had a period of just being like completely not very good, and then I got into Dylan and all of his backup,
Right.
like Hargus Pig Robbins and the guy who plays on Highway 61 and Nicky Hopkins. Do you know Nicky Hopkins?
Nicky Hopkins, yeah, he played with the Stones, I think, right?
Played with
And-
the Stones.
yeah.
He plays on Revolution with
bunch
the
of them, yeah.
Beatles. He played with John Lennon. He played on Jealous Guy. He's the one who's like,
Yeah. We may have to have a Stump the Vollebekk
Stump me.
segment. Yeah, when people submit their questions, because that's all the type of things Chris Herman knows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Who plays piano here?
Oh man, but
know.
yeah, Nicky Hopkins had a debilitating like back problem and stuff, so he was in pain his whole life,
Yeah.
and he would just play. And Jim Keltner, the drummer who was a fantastic drummer, he played with Dylan and
Yeah.
everybody. He played on a couple songs on my record. I had the privilege
Oh,
of playing
that's
with
awesome.
him, and he was telling me about Nicky Hopkins, and so I was like, "Oh, you played with Nicky?" He's like, whenever Nicky played, you'd see an English garden." And he had it too, synesthesia, I'm sure.
Wow, that's
But he
awesome.
said Nicky was playing. He's like, I could see this English garden whenever he played.
That's awesome.
Isn't that wild?
That is so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, the album's called Revelation. Leif Vollebekk, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate
No
it.
problem. You could come by anytime, and I will pepper Chris Herman with some of these questions.
I feel like that's exactly like. Can you? I'm gonna write down
Yeah.
exactly when I can listen to
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
I'm gonna just send in questions every week because I've got.
There are people that do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll be
Yeah.
one of them. I love
Yes,
that.
I'm trying to think of some good ones we've had. Like, do you know, like some basic ones, like who plays guitar on David Bowie's "Let's Dance"?
Oh.
Big name,
Oh
big
shit.
guitar player name. See,
I don't know, but I assume maybe it'd be Mick Taylor or would it be Dire Straits, dude?
no,
No, I don't know. Don't know.
It's kind of surprising when I learned this because I learned stuff too because I'm the host of the show.
Sounds like maybe Prince? No.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
No way.
See.
So I didn't know.
There you go, Steve. But according to Chris Herman, the story was Stevie Ray Vaughan was playing, I want to say Newport Folk or something like that, and getting like booed off the stage. But David Bowie was there on the side of the stage. And he's like, "Ah, it's good," and brought him in with what's his name, a producer of from Chic. Anyway, forget
Yeah,
his
you're
name.
stumping me. Double.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
and he plays on the whole record. So Stevie Ray Vaughan on "Let's Dance."
How
And when you
cool is
hear
that?
it, now that you know it's Stevie Ray Vaughan, you listen to "Let's Dance," the song, and you're like, "Oh, it is his style." So there you go.
So cool.
See that?
The thing is, my knowledge is Beatles, Dylan, and a bit of Prince, but like
Yeah.
mostly Dylan. So like it's
Chris is everything. His strong point is Tom Petty, Beatles, Stones, Zeppelin. He likes U2,
yeah.
REM. Those are like
see that I can't go there because I know because if I can't be Dylan stumped. It hasn't happened yet. That's my
that's
my force
pretty
field.
big. Yeah,
that's
a
my
pretty
force
big.
field.
Well, there you go. We had a great time.
Can you have him submit a question for me?
I will.
About Dylan.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll see if he
Okay,
can
great.
stump you.
Great.
It'll be a lot of fun. But we had a lot of fun today. Thanks, Leif, for coming in and joining us here at this great studio here at Mercy University. Thanks to Sam and the whole crew here that let us, storm your studio all the time. And it's just a great place to have a conversation and make music, and that's why we love it here at Mercy University. So thank you for listening. I'm Coach here with Leif Vollebekk. Again, the new album, Revelation, out right now. And we've got more world-class rock coming up for you on 107.1 The Peak.